12 Reasons Why Life is Better When You're Single. Stoicism. Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." In relationships, we often forget that the pursuit of happiness and freedom doesn't always mean being with someone. Sometimes the real growth comes from embracing the single life, free from compromises and external expectations. In today's video, we're going to dive into 12 compelling reasons why life can actually be better when you're single. This isn't about rejecting relationships, but about realizing that being on your own opens up a world of possibilities to focus on personal growth, self-discovery, and happiness. Whether you're already enjoying your independence or still figuring things out, these principles can reshape the way you view your life. Imagine having the autonomy to make decisions without needing approval, the freedom from criticism or judgment, and the ability to create your own path without compromising your values. Are you ready to learn how to live life on your own terms? I encourage you to reflect on these reasons as we go through them and think about how they can apply to your own life. And hey, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share in the comments below if you've experienced the same, or if you think being single has its hidden benefits. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can continue your journey toward personal growth with us here at Stoic in Your Life. Let's jump right in. Lesson 1. Sex and Marriage. Sex and marriage, two topics that have been deeply intertwined throughout human history, yet they can often feel like two entirely different worlds. In the early stages of a relationship, everything seems perfect. The excitement, the passion, the connection, it feels effortless. But as time passes, marriage can sometimes become a negotiation, a series of compromises, and ultimately, a challenge to maintain that initial spark. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, and this applies to how we approach relationships. In marriage, you're constantly balancing responsibilities, household chores, raising children, managing finances, and often, intimacy becomes just another item on the checklist. Sex, which may have been a spontaneous and joyous part of life before, becomes subject to the daily routines, arguments, and stress that marriage inevitably brings." Single life, on the other hand, offers a different perspective. It gives you autonomy over your decisions and freedom from the emotional complexities that often come with marriage. You're free to pursue relationships based on mutual desire, rather than obligation. In the single life, intimacy doesn't come with the same negotiations. There are no arguments about who forgot to take out the trash or who didn't fold the laundry. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Being single gives you the space to react to life on your own terms, to live freely, and to explore relationships without the constraints of marital obligations. Moreover, being single allows you to regain control over your life. Big decisions, like where you live, what you spend your money on, and how you spend your time, are entirely yours to make. There's no need to compromise or debate with a partner over every small decision. No need to justify your actions or feel judged for your choices. In a marriage, it can feel like your every move is scrutinized, and the weight of criticism or judgment can be overwhelming. But when you're single, you are your own critic, and the freedom from judgment can be incredibly liberating. This isn't to say marriage is inherently bad. For those who deeply desire a family, marriage might be the right choice, but it comes with its own set of sacrifices. Raising children, while fulfilling, can take a toll on your relationship with your partner. The spontaneity that once existed is often replaced by exhaustion and routine. Your partner, who was once eager to spend time with you, might be more focused on managing the household or tending to the kids. This shift in dynamics can make marriage feel more like a partnership in raising a family rather than a romantic relationship. One of the greatest fears many men face is the fear of being alone. But as Franklin D. Roosevelt famously said, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." Being single doesn't mean being lonely. In fact, it's an opportunity to connect more deeply with yourself, to pursue your own passions, and to live without the fear of disappointing someone else. Single life allows you to cultivate a stronger sense of self and find fulfillment in your own achievements. The value of being single, especially as you age, lies in the freedom it affords. You have the autonomy to shape your life exactly as you see fit, without the constant compromises that marriage often demands. Whether it's deciding to pursue a new career, traveling the world, or simply enjoying a quiet evening without interruption, the single life offers a wealth of opportunities to live fully and authentically. So, to all the men out there navigating this journey, remember that being single is not a limitation, but rather, it can be a path to personal growth, happiness, and peace. Lesson 2. Autonomy in Big and Small Decisions. Autonomy in big and small decisions is one of the most liberating aspects of being single, and it's often underestimated. When you're in a relationship or marriage, every choice, from the color of your car to where you go on vacation, tends to be a joint decision. While that might sound like partnership in theory, in practice, it often leads to compromises that can chip away at your sense of independence. In many cases, the smallest decisions, like whether you want to sleep on the left side of the bed or the right, whether you want to have pasta for dinner or go out for burgers, are no longer entirely yours to make. And let's face it, no one likes feeling like they have to negotiate every little thing. Being single grants you the ultimate freedom to live life on your own terms. You get to decide, without needing anyone else's approval, how you want to live each day. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When you're free to make choices independently, you can focus on what truly makes you happy, instead of being stuck in a loop of endless compromises. Take a moment to think about how different your life would be if you didn't have to ask anyone else's opinion about what car to buy, what color to paint your walls, or how to spend your money. This might seem trivial at first, but over time, these small decisions add up to create a life that reflects your own desires and values. I remember a friend of mine who got divorced after 20 years of marriage. For the first time in 2 decades, he realized he could design his living space exactly how he wanted. He made his home a reflection of himself, decorating it with bold colors, setting up his dream home office, and turning his living room into the ultimate man cave. He didn't have to ask anyone's permission, and for the first time in years, he felt a deep sense of autonomy and peace. It was a small thing, but it had a profound impact on his happiness and overall sense of control in his life. Now think about how this applies to your life. When you wake up in the morning, do you feel like you're in control of your decisions? Or do you feel like you're constantly negotiating with someone else? Whether it's deciding how to spend your weekend or what career path to pursue, autonomy is a key ingredient in personal fulfillment. Being single allows you to craft a life that is uniquely your own. You don't have to debate with a partner about whether to invest in your passion project or take a spontaneous trip. You can simply do it. And this kind of freedom extends beyond the small day-to-day decisions. It also impacts the larger, more significant life choices. Consider the big decisions that shape your future. When you're single, you're free to make choices about your career, your health, and your goals without needing to factor in someone else's opinion or lifestyle. You can take that job across the country, start your own business, or spend your savings on something that brings you joy without second-guessing whether it's the right choice for your partner. As Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." When you're single, you're not constrained by the expectations or needs of another person. You have the opportunity to live according to your own standards and values, which is where true fulfillment lies. But autonomy doesn't mean isolation. It means being the captain of your own ship. It doesn't mean you can't have meaningful relationships with friends, family, or even potential romantic partners in the future. It simply means that, for now, you have the opportunity to fully focus on your own growth and happiness. So, ask yourself, what would you do differently if you didn't have to take someone else's preferences into account? How would you structure your day, your career, your life, if every decision was entirely up to you? These are the questions that being single allows you to explore, And in answering them, you'll discover a sense of autonomy that leads to personal growth, fulfillment, and happiness. The message here is clear. Being single offers you the priceless gift of autonomy. It's a time in your life when you can make decisions that reflect who you are, what you want, and how you want to live without the constraints of compromise. Embrace this time, make the most of it, and build a life that brings you joy. As you walk this path of independence, you'll find that the freedom to make your own choices, both big and small, is one of the most empowering aspects of life. Lesson 3. Freedom from criticism and judgment. Freedom from criticism and judgment is one of the most profound advantages of being single. We all know what it's like to live under someone else's expectations, to feel scrutinized, evaluated, or even judged for the choices we make. Whether it's small, everyday things like how you spend your free time, or larger life decisions such as your career or financial choices, being in a relationship often means having a second set of eyes on everything you do. Some may see this as accountability, but it can quickly feel like an invisible weight, slowly building over time. When you're single, that weight is lifted. You are no longer answering to someone else's expectations or dealing with their critical eye on your every move. As Marcus Aurelius said, if you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them, and it is in your power to wipe out that judgment now. In the single life, the only judgment that matters is your own, and that gives you the space to grow without the constant fear of disappointing someone else. Think about how liberating it feels to be able to make mistakes without anyone there to critique you or remind you of your shortcomings. If you mess up at work or fall short of a personal goal, you can pick yourself up, learn from it, and move on without anyone pointing fingers. You control the narrative of your own life, and you get to decide how you react to both successes and failures. Have you ever found yourself walking on eggshells, worried about what your partner will think or say about your decisions? When you're single, you have the opportunity to remove that stress and focus on what truly matters: your own growth, happiness, and fulfillment. Let's bring this into modern life. I have a friend who, after years of marriage, realized how much her husband's constant criticism had affected her self-esteem. Every time she wanted to try something new or take a risk, whether it was starting a new hobby, changing her hairstyle, or even considering a career change, she was met with negativity and judgment. It wasn't until she became single again that she understood just how much of her life had been shaped by his critiques. She started taking control of her decisions without fear of being judged, and in doing so, she rediscovered her confidence. She began painting again, a passion she had abandoned years ago due to criticism. Being single gave her the freedom to pursue her interests without feeling belittled, and that was empowering. How often have you held yourself back because you were afraid of what someone else might think? The freedom from criticism isn't just about avoiding harsh words. It's about being free to be yourself without apology. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." When you're single, you have the chance to fully embody your values and beliefs without feeling the need to explain them or seek validation from anyone else. This level of independence is often undervalued, but it's a key component of personal growth. Without the constant concern of how someone else might view your decisions, you're free to make choices based on your own principles and desires. You can live authentically, in alignment with your true self, and that is something deeply powerful. So, how does this play out in your everyday life? Simple things like deciding how to spend your weekend or where to invest your energy become easier when you don't have to worry about someone else's critique. Want to spend the whole day binge-watching your favorite show without feeling guilty? Go for it. Feel like taking up a new hobby or dedicating time to a side hustle? Do it without hesitation. The beauty of being single is that you're free from the judgment of others, which allows you to take risks and explore life on your own terms. And the truth is, the more you allow yourself to grow in this freedom, the more self-assured and confident you become. But this freedom isn't just about avoiding negativity. It's also about learning to trust your own judgment. In a relationship, you often rely on your partner to validate your decisions or offer feedback. While this can be helpful, it can also weaken your ability to trust your own instincts. When you're single, you have the chance to sharpen that skill, making decisions based on your gut, your logic, and your experiences. You learn to be more self-reliant, which in turn makes you stronger and more resilient. How often do we hear about people in relationships second-guessing themselves because they're too reliant on their partner's input? By being single, you take back control of your choices, and in doing so, you cultivate a deeper sense of self-trust. Lesson 4: Marriage and Raising Children. Marriage and raising children can be a rewarding journey, but it also comes with a level of responsibility and sacrifice that isn't always easy to manage. While some may view marriage and parenthood as natural milestones, it's essential to recognize the challenges they bring, especially when you compare them to the freedoms you enjoy when you're single. Marriage often shifts from romance to a partnership focused on raising children, running a household, and making life work. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing." This applies to marriage because it requires constant effort and adjustments. Two people trying to balance their individual needs with the needs of the family. For many men, marriage can feel like a never-ending list of obligations. When kids enter the picture, your relationship with your partner changes dramatically. What was once a spontaneous, intimate connection becomes more about teamwork, coordination, and at times, sheer survival. Raising children is a full-time job, and while it brings joy, it also requires energy, patience, and time, often leaving little room for personal growth or pursuit of individual passions. Think about it. How often have you seen a father exhausted after a long day of work, then coming home to the demands of parenting and household responsibilities? There's hardly any time left for himself, let alone for the romance that might have once been central to his marriage. On the other hand, when you're single, you have the autonomy to focus on your personal development and goals. Without the constant demands of marriage and parenting, you can invest time in learning, exploring new hobbies, or pursuing career advancement. You have the freedom to live life on your terms, without the need to constantly negotiate or compromise with a partner. This isn't to say that raising children doesn't have its rewards, but the trade-off is often a diminished sense of personal freedom. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely noted, "No man is free who is not master of himself." When you are single, you truly are the master of your own life, with full control over your time, energy, and decisions. In modern life, this idea of balancing family obligations with personal fulfillment is more relevant than ever. Many men find themselves overwhelmed by the pressures of providing for their families, while also maintaining the role of an engaged father and husband. They are often left with little time to reflect on their own well-being or desires. However, when you are single, you can pursue your goals without feeling guilty about prioritizing yourself. You can decide how to spend your weekends, your finances, and your free time without needing to consult or compromise with a partner. So, what does this mean for those who are contemplating the single life? It means that you have the opportunity to fully embrace your individuality and focus on your personal journey. There's a sense of liberation in knowing that your choices are entirely your own, and that you can prioritize what makes you happy. You can still have meaningful relationships, but without the weight of long-term commitments that demand a constant balancing act. This freedom allows for greater clarity and personal growth, which are essential to leading a fulfilled life. Ultimately, whether or not you choose marriage and parenthood is a deeply personal decision. But if you're single, take a moment to appreciate the freedom you have, the freedom to shape your life as you see fit, to chase after your goals without limitations, and to grow into the person you want to become. As Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Being single grants you the luxury of time to invest in yourself, to explore your passions, and to live without the constant demands that marriage and parenthood inevitably bring. So, as you navigate through life's choices, Remember that singlehood isn't just an absence of a relationship. It's an opportunity to fully embrace who you are and what you want out of life. Thank you for joining us in today's video. We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Feel free to share your story or personal impressions in the comments below. If you're new to our community, just comment "I am a newbie" to let us know you've joined us. If you've been with us for a while, comment "I am Stoic" to show your ongoing journey towards wisdom and resilience. Your engagement not only signifies your presence but also motivates us to continue bringing you valuable content. Let's continue this journey together towards enlightenment and fulfillment. Lesson 5. Overcoming the fear of being alone. Overcoming the fear of being alone is a challenge that many people, especially men, face at some point in their lives. Society often tells us that success and happiness are tied to being in a relationship, and that being single somehow equates to failure or loneliness. However, that's far from the truth. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When you're single, you have the opportunity to tap into a deeper sense of self-reliance and strength that is often overshadowed by the distractions of relationships. It's not about isolating yourself from others, but rather learning to be comfortable in your own company and discovering the fulfillment that comes from within. Instead of seeing being single as a void, think of it as an open space where you can plant the seeds of your own growth, passion, and purpose. Think about it. How many times have you stayed in a relationship out of fear of being alone, even when it wasn't making you happy? It's a common trap. We often cling to the familiar because we fear the unknown. But the reality is, being alone doesn't mean being lonely. In fact, it can be the most liberating time of your life. You get to focus entirely on yourself, on building the life you want, without the distractions of trying to meet someone else's needs or expectations. There's no compromise, no second guessing, just pure freedom to pursue what makes you truly happy. And as you start to experience this, the fear of being alone begins to fade, replaced by a newfound sense of independence and self-assurance. A friend of mine went through a divorce after being married for over 15 years. For a while, he was terrified of being alone, of not having someone by his side. But as he started to focus on himself, taking up new hobbies, reconnecting with old friends, and advancing in his career, he realized that being single wasn't something to fear. In fact, he started to enjoy his own company more than ever before. He told me once, "I never knew how strong I was until I had to stand on my own." That's the power of overcoming the fear of being alone. When you embrace it, you unlock a version of yourself that you may have never known existed. But how do you begin to overcome this fear? Start by shifting your mindset. Instead of viewing solitude as a negative state, see it as an opportunity for growth. What have you always wanted to do, but never had the time or space for? Being single gives you the perfect chance to pursue those passions, whether it's starting a new hobby, traveling, or simply spending more time focusing on your mental and physical health. You're no longer bound by the responsibilities that come with being in a relationship, and that freedom can be incredibly empowering. As Epictetus wisely said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Much of the fear of being alone comes from the stories we tell ourselves, the worst-case scenarios we envision. But when you're truly present in your own life, you realize that being alone is not something to dread. It's a time to thrive. Now consider this. What if being single isn't something to escape from, but rather a phase to embrace fully? What if this is your chance to become the best version of yourself? Too often we rush into relationships out of fear or societal pressure. But when you take the time to truly understand and appreciate yourself, you enter any future relationships from a place of strength rather than insecurity. And in the meantime, you'll find that being single can be a deeply fulfilling experience. You get to set your own priorities, focus on your goals, and most importantly, develop a sense of self-worth that isn't dependent on anyone else. At the end of the day, Overcoming the fear of being alone is about realizing that you are complete as you are. You don't need a relationship to validate your worth or to feel fulfilled. Instead, view this time in your life as an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to explore who you are without the influence of others. The freedom you gain from this mindset is invaluable, and it will serve you well in every aspect of your life. As Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Don't waste your time fearing solitude. Instead, use it as a powerful tool to build the life you've always dreamed of. So, I ask you, what will you do with the freedom that comes from embracing being alone? How will you use this time to create the life you want? These are the questions that will help you not only overcome your fear of being alone, but also thrive in it. Lesson 6. Parenting as a divorced dad. Parenting as a divorced dad can be one of the most challenging yet rewarding experiences of your life. When you're no longer in a marriage, the dynamic changes completely. Instead of co-parenting alongside a partner within the same household, you now face the task of raising your children on your own, or as part of a shared custody arrangement. This can bring its own unique set of obstacles, but it also opens the door to becoming the kind of parent you've always wanted to be. You're no longer navigating through the potential conflicts or compromises that a marriage often brings. Instead, you have the chance to establish a relationship with your children based on your own values, principles, and love. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This is the opportunity you have as a divorced dad, to be the kind of father your kids need without any outside interference or judgment. Being a divorced dad allows you to reshape your role as a parent. While marriage sometimes leads to shared responsibilities that can feel transactional, such as "I'll pick up the kids if you make dinner," divorce often pushes you to be more present and intentional with your parenting. You're no longer just a figure in the background of their day-to-day lives, but someone who actively engages in meaningful moments with your children. In a way, divorce can even enhance your bond with your kids, because it forces you to focus on quality over quantity. Every interaction becomes more valuable, and every minute spent with them becomes an opportunity to teach, guide, and support them as they grow. Yes, divorce can be emotionally difficult for both you and your kids, but it also offers a chance for them to see you as a strong, resilient figure who can navigate through hardship. You are setting an example of perseverance, showing them that life's challenges don't have to define you, but instead can build character. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Divorce may change the structure of your family, but it doesn't have to diminish the love, support, and guidance you offer your children. In fact, it can be the foundation for a deeper, more understanding relationship, one where your children see you as not just a provider, but a source of wisdom and strength. Lesson 7. Regaining control of your life. Regaining control of your life is one of the most empowering aspects of being single, especially for men who have spent years in relationships where compromises were constant. It's easy to lose sight of your personal goals and desires when you're sharing your life with someone else. The day-to-day negotiations about what to eat, where to live, how to spend your money, and how to divide responsibilities can leave you feeling like your own needs are taking a back seat. But when you're single, you get to reset that balance. You can reclaim your autonomy, and that's where real power lies. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, and regaining control of your life is about reshaping your mindset. It's about recognizing that you no longer have to answer to anyone else's expectations or needs. You are now the captain of your own ship, free to steer your life in any direction you choose." Let's take a closer look at what it means to regain control. First, it's about reclaiming your time. When you're single, your time is entirely yours. There's no need to compromise on how you spend your weekends or evenings. Whether you want to dive into a new hobby, focus on your career, or simply relax without any external pressures, you get to decide. This kind of freedom is often overlooked when you're in a relationship, but once you have it back, you'll realize how much of a difference it makes. Epictetus, another great Stoic philosopher, said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." When you're single, you truly become the master of your own time, which allows you to invest in the things that matter most to you. Regaining control also means making decisions without the constant need to consult someone else. Think about how many times you've had to compromise on big decisions, buying a house, choosing a vacation spot, or even deciding what kind of lifestyle you want to lead. Being single means that you no longer have to weigh someone else's preferences against your own. This isn't about being selfish. It's about living authentically, in a way that aligns with your values and desires. It's about being free to pursue your goals without hesitation or second-guessing. How much more could you achieve if you didn't have to pause and ask for someone else's approval? Regaining control of your life as a single man is about empowerment. It's about realizing that your happiness, success, and fulfillment are within your own hands. Don't waste your time living for someone else's dreams or expectations. Use this time to rediscover who you are, what you want, and how you can live your life on your own terms. Lesson 8. Control over your environment. Control over your environment is one of the greatest advantages of being single, and it's something that many people don't fully appreciate until they experience it firsthand. When you're in a relationship, you often have to compromise on how you want your living space to look, feel, and function. Whether it's the temperature of the room, the decor, or even what's stocked in the fridge, every decision becomes a joint one, and that can feel limiting. But when you're single, you have total control. You can create a space that reflects your personality, caters to your needs, and feels like your own sanctuary. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." The key here is not material excess, but the ability to design your environment exactly as you want, free from outside influence. Think about it. How would your life change if you didn't have to compromise on how you lived in your own space? You could choose the temperature that makes you comfortable, decorate in a way that inspires you, and arrange everything to suit your lifestyle. This kind of control doesn't just apply to your home. It extends to your daily habits, routines, and even how you choose to spend your time. So, what does control over your environment really mean? It's not just about physical space, it's about having the power to create a life that aligns with your values and desires. It's the freedom to arrange your day, your work, and your leisure exactly how you want. You can wake up when you want, eat what you want, and spend time doing what fulfills you, all without the need to cater to someone else's preferences. This kind of autonomy brings a sense of empowerment that can be deeply fulfilling. Have you ever thought about what small changes in your environment could improve your daily life? If you've made it this far, you're embracing the strength of independence. Drop a comment saying, "I am embracing freedom," to show you're committed to living life on your own terms. Stick around, the journey toward personal growth is just beginning. Lesson 9. Life on your terms. Life on your terms. This is one of the greatest rewards of being single. When you're not in a relationship, you have the freedom to make decisions that fully align with your desires, goals, and values without having to consider someone else's preferences or opinions. You can shape your life exactly as you want it, whether that means pursuing a passion, focusing on your career, or traveling the world. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." Being single allows you to fully embrace this freedom, to focus on what you can control, and to build a life that reflects your true self. Think about how often you've had to compromise in relationships, whether it was about where to live, what kind of job to take, or how to spend your weekends. When you're single, those decisions are entirely yours to make. You're not bound by anyone else's expectations or plans. You can wake up each day and decide how you want to live, free from the constraints that relationships often bring. This isn't about selfishness. It's about self-empowerment. Have you ever asked yourself how much more you could achieve if you lived completely on your own terms? Living life on your terms also means you can set your own priorities. If your career is your top focus, you can dedicate the time and energy needed to succeed without worrying about how it impacts someone else. If personal growth or health is your goal, you can invest in yourself without distractions. You get to decide what's important and build a life that aligns with those priorities. This freedom allows you to become the best version of yourself. Lesson 10. Regaining autonomy and freedom. Regaining autonomy and freedom is one of the greatest advantages of being single, and it's something many men overlook while caught up in the routines of a relationship. When you're single, the choices you make are yours alone, without needing to compromise or negotiate with someone else. This allows you to take full control of your life, whether it's in your career, personal habits, or lifestyle choices. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you're no longer bound by the expectations or needs of another person, you are free to focus on yourself, shape your thoughts, and cultivate the kind of life you want to lead. This newfound autonomy is empowering, giving you the chance to live with intention and clarity. This autonomy is not just about making big decisions, though. It's about the everyday freedom to set your own schedule, eat what you want, and spend your leisure time doing things that genuinely fulfill you. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." By being single, you gain the ability to master your life in a way that you might not have been able to while in a relationship. But autonomy also comes with responsibility. Now that you're in control, you have to decide what you truly want in life. This can be both exhilarating and challenging, but it offers the opportunity for immense growth. You can set your own goals and make decisions that align with your values, without having to justify your choices to anyone. And it's not just about personal achievements. Autonomy also means being able to create a life of balance where you prioritize your well-being, health, and happiness. Lesson 11. The value of being single as you age. The value of being single as you age is often misunderstood. Society tends to place a premium on being in a relationship, especially as you get older. But in reality, being single can offer a level of freedom and fulfillment that many overlook. When you're single, particularly as you age, you have the opportunity to focus entirely on your own growth, well-being, and happiness, without the obligations or compromises that come with a long-term relationship. As Epictetus wisely said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Aging while single allows you to be the master of your own life, making decisions based solely on your needs, desires, and goals. It's about living a life that aligns with who you truly are, without worrying about pleasing someone else. As you age, your priorities shift. The things that mattered when you were younger, perhaps the rush of romance or the pressure to settle down, start to fade, and you begin to see the beauty in simplicity, self-discovery, and independence. Many men in their 30s, 40s, and beyond find that being single gives them the space to explore their passions, try new things, and even reinvent themselves. But let's be clear. Being single as you age doesn't mean you're isolated or alone. In fact, it can deepen your connections with friends, family, and even yourself. Without the emotional demands of a relationship, you have more energy to invest in meaningful relationships and activities that bring you joy. You're free to set your own social calendar, engage in hobbies that excite you, and spend your time however you please. Being single as you age also offers the chance to cultivate self-awareness. As you grow older, you understand yourself better. You're less likely to tolerate drama, emotional manipulation, or settling for less than what you deserve. This clarity of mind allows you to live with intention, making choices that are aligned with your values and long-term goals. As Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Being single gives you the time to reflect on what really matters to you and to use your time wisely, not wasting it on people or situations that drain your energy. Lesson 12. Life after marriage. Life after marriage can be one of the most transformative periods of your life. For many men, the end of a marriage feels like the end of an era, but in reality, it often marks the beginning of a new chapter filled with growth, freedom, and self-discovery. When the dust settles, you start to realize that the world is full of opportunities that might have been overlooked or unavailable while you were focused on your relationship. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Life after marriage gives you the chance to reshape those thoughts, to redirect your energy toward your own goals and desires, and to build a life that reflects who you truly are. Once the emotional turmoil of a breakup or divorce starts to fade, you begin to see the benefits of this new stage. Suddenly, you have more time for yourself, more control over your environment, and the ability to make decisions without having to consider someone else's needs or opinions. It's not about dismissing the value of marriage, but about recognizing that there's a different kind of value in being single again, one that gives you the freedom to focus on your own growth. Have you ever considered how this newfound freedom could open up doors you hadn't even thought possible before? A friend of mine, after his divorce, realized that he had lost sight of some of his passions during his marriage. Once he was single again, he found himself reconnecting with old hobbies, meeting new people, and exploring parts of life that had been on hold for years. He told me that while he hadn't chosen divorce, he was grateful for the way it forced him to reassess his life and figure out what truly made him happy. This is the silver lining that many men find after marriage, the opportunity to rediscover themselves and live with a renewed sense of purpose. But life after marriage isn't just about freedom. It's about regaining your sense of autonomy and taking responsibility for your happiness. The Stoics often talked about focusing on what is within your control, and this is the perfect time to apply that principle. You can't control the past or undo what's already happened, but you can control how you move forward. So what will you do with this opportunity? How will you use this time to rebuild your life and create something meaningful? As we've explored in today's video, being single offers countless opportunities for personal growth, freedom, and self-discovery. Whether it's regaining control over your time, making decisions that reflect your true desires, or simply enjoying the autonomy to live life on your own terms, singlehood can be a powerful and fulfilling journey. The Stoic wisdom we've discussed shows that happiness isn't tied to relationships, but to how we respond to life's circumstances. If you found these lessons helpful, take a moment to reflect on how they can apply to your own life. Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear how you are embracing your independence and what challenges you've faced along the way.